cool. So let's get the man of the hour up here. Everyone, give it up for Dante
Basco! Yo, what's up? How you guys doing? You guys all almost made it to the weekend. We're almost done. You guys survived Saturday night? Y'all good? I almost did.
So did you make a good weekend for you?
No, it was a great weekend. It's my first time in Raleigh, and my first time at Supercon, so I've had such a great time. The whole con is amazing. The whole city is awesome. Really cool. A lot of cool bars, and a lot of great food. A lot of people getting turned up. I being one of them. We lost one of our friends last night, broken ankle, I think. Broken ankle. They're going hard in Raleigh. People are going down. It was like, whoa, our crew is getting smaller. But I hope she's okay.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we already got a really long line. You want to go ahead and get started with that?
Let's go.
Hi, what's your name and what's your question?
All right, my name is Nick, and I have to know, what was it like to work with the voice of Aku from Samurai Jack? Mako.
Mako. Sorry, hold on a second. Mako. Mako is amazing. Mako played Uncle Iroh in Avatar: Last Airbender. But he's such, rest in peace. He passed away a while ago. But Mako also played my uncle and my father several times in my career on screen. So that's the fourth time we worked together, and he's known me since I was 12, I think. Yeah. So if you watch a movie called Perfect Weapon with Jeff Speakman, he plays my uncle in that movie, and you'll get like Zuko Iroh feels for sure. And it's me at 12, and Mako was playing. So like my uncle, I'm like a runaway kid that ends up kind of shacking up with me like my uncle. So basically, Mako has been like an Uncle Iroh figure to me over my whole, career. Since he's known me so young, he saw me grow up, and over the years I've been able to ask him questions about career and what I'm doing, just because he was there before me doing all this for years. And so he's just a really, really amazing guy. So sad he passed away, but it was really special to be on his last project with him.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's up, man? How's it going?
I'm doing well. You're looking amazing. I like to get up.
I try. First, I just wanted to say you've always been a big inspiration for me. Growing up as a kid, especially Rufio, being one of the few movie characters that looked like me as a kid growing up, it really did inspire me because he's so cool, and I was like, I want to be just like him.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
But enough of the sappy stuff. So, if we were in a WWE no holds barred match between Jake Long, Zuko, and Rufio, who would win?
I'm imagining this whole thing. There's a lot of wrestlers at this con. We should ask some of them. But let's think about that. No holds barred.
Anything goes.
I love Rufio, but he ain't got no firepower. He's good with that sword, but I think it would be definitely a Jake Long.
Yeah.
A Jake Long, Zuko battle when it goes to it. And then I'm thinking, once Jake becomes the dragon.
Yeah. But which dragon?
I know, first season, second season. That first season dragon, maybe. I mean, I'd have to say maybe the dragon wins. The dragon wins unless Zuko can summon his dragon.
No holds barred, so I think it's okay to be a dragon.
Yeah, the dragon. Rufio's done. Rufio needs to go. Rufio needs to leave before he gets hurt. So I'm gonna go with Jake as the dragon.
All right.
Hello, Daniel here.
What's up, Dan? Hello, Daniel.
Thank you for coming all the way out here to see us. I know it was a very long journey for you, so everybody.
Thank you.
And all the amazing actors and actresses you've worked with over your career, which one would you say has had the most influence in your acting method, that you can see the most of them in yourself?
Wow, that's pretty good. Out of all of them, huh? As an actor, I think a lot of the biggest kind of impacts are when you're training. So my acting coach of years, she kind of had probably the biggest impact as far as me being an actor and studying, because I was in conservatory for like 20 years. And conservatory means basically you're going to acting classes, doing scene study and monologues and improv and voice production, you know, all this kind of stuff. So her name is Gloria Gifford. I studied in her school. She probably had the biggest influence on me behind the scenes. As far as actors I would work with, I mean, Dustin Hoffman, you know, he's one of those guys that, as a young actor, I always looked up to him. We still do. There's a certain amount of actors, as you're training, there are these, like a pantheon of actors that we've been chasing forever, the actors that kind of changed Hollywood. Starting with, you know, like Marlon Brando, to James Dean, to, it keeps going, right? The 70s, probably like the pantheon is like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, Jack Nicholson, right? And so being able to work with one of these guys that really changed the face of Hollywood was crazy, legendary. So working with him so closely, and even on my death scene, I knocked on his door, right? His trailer door, because I never died in the movie. And I asked him for some advice about how to do a death scene. And he said, I'll be on set today, I'll come. And he was my acting coach for the day. He just really, really lovingly kind of put me through the whole thing. And it was amazing. So he had such good impact.
Well, I figured he owed you. He was going to kill you.
Yeah, he was going to kill me. Amazing, amazing guy.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, my name is Megan. I really enjoyed watching Hook when I was younger. So I had a couple questions.
Sure.
How was it like working with Robin Williams, and also how was working on the set?
Yeah, rest in peace, Robin Williams.
Yes.
You know? Robin's an amazing, amazing guy. Just a beautiful, beautiful dude. For all of us that are Robin Williams fan, he really is exactly what she wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? As far as he's the smartest guy in the room, so fast and so witty, the energy through the roof. I often tell people, he's like your cool uncle that you want to hang out with.
Yeah.
That's who he is. And also, he is the genie from the lamp. He actually is. When he's around, magic can happen, and often does, you know? So he taught me so much and impacted me a lot as a young actor. And then being around that set, it's amazing. I mean, I was 15, but I started acting when I was 10. So by that time, I was, you know, a pretty seasoned little actor.
Right.
And I was very serious about my craft. Still, maybe less serious now, but still serious. But I used to, so that's like was the biggest film in Hollywood at the time when we were shooting it, right? So basically that means that Sony Lot, Steven Spielberg had every soundstage, and so many people came through to just visit the movie and to visit the sets and everything. Everyone from like Robert De Niro to like Michael Jackson, Prince, like people would just come by every day visiting the set. It was so crazy.
Yeah, it's really big set.
Yeah,
Really
it was like
enjoyed
a
the
whole.
movie.
Yeah, it was like a whole happening, right?
Right.
But as a young artist, it was so amazing because you're working with Robin Williams, probably the greatest improv actor, created improv acting on film and television. Dustin Hoffman, one of the legends and one of the greats, walking legend, right? Steven Spielberg at the height of his powers, probably the most impactful, one of the biggest directors in the world at that time, especially. So I would come to the set on my days off to just sit next to the camera and watch these guys work, including Maggie Smith, and Bob Hoskins, and Phil Collins, and you know, David Crosby's on set. The list goes on. People I would just watch work day after day, and people will ask me, like, what was that like? And I go, it's like if you had the opportunity to sit in the room and watch Picasso paint. If you had the opportunity to sit in a theater and watch Mozart conduct a symphony, it's like that's what I had. So I always encourage people to know when you're in the presence.
I'm glad you had a part of that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I really am glad you had a part of that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, because you made the singing and the action and.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. So, and I'm really glad to meet you. So,
Nice
thank you
to
for
meet you.
being here.
Cheers.
Hi, my name is Robert.
What's up, Robert?
What?
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm chilling.
Okay. I actually grew up watching Hook a lot as a kid, and Rufio was just so awesome. My question is, what was the most fun you had while on the set of Hook?
The most fun. What are a few things? Like I learned how to skateboard, which is cool. And my skateboard teacher was a guy named Stacy Peralta, who owns Kyle Peralta, yeah, which is fascinating. When I think back, I think Stacy Peralta taught me how to ollie. And for people that don't know skateboarding, Kyle Peralta is like one of the biggest legendary skateboard minds like in history. Like these are the legendary cats on the set. And Stacy Peralta is teaching me how to ollie. That was amazing. And then learning how to sword fight was probably the most fun. We shot that movie for about 8 months, something like that. And they brought me about 2 months early to start my sword fight training. And so I was training like a few times a week before we started shooting, and then I would have to train like nearly every day while we were shooting. And so when we watched the movie, all the sword fighting that Rufio does is me sword fighting, which is awesome. So that was so much fun. And just shenanigans at the, like we were in Lost Boys. You know what I'm saying? There was a part of the Sony lot in the back that was like Lost Boy Lane. They put all our trailers in the back, and they had like a basketball court for us, and it was just crazy. It was all of us kids being crazy, and we just ran the lot. We were like steal golf carts and driving around. We were Lost Boys, you know what I'm saying? We're just Lost Boys being crazy. A lot of stories you probably can't tell because we were just horrible kids.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Mariah. I promise not to cry on you like I did on Friday. My question is, out of all the characters you've played, which one has taught you the most about yourself?
Oh, that's crazy. One top of us with myself. A saying they have with actors is, you're stuck with the character and the character's stuck with you. And basically what that means is there's a lot of you in every, we're actors, but we're not crazy people. Like we're still ourselves. Like you're always going to be you. The character's always going to resemble you and parts of you. And so the character, it can only do what you can do, and then you can only do what you can with the character. So ultimately, as I look at the characters I've done, there's a lot of me in like Rufio. There's a lot of me in Zuko and Jake Long, these kind of guys. But then by the end of it, there's a lot of them that gets transferred to me. And so what you're saying is which one of those is like taught me the most about myself? They've all taught me different lessons, in reality, the characters of Rufio and Zuko are very similar. There's a big redemptive arc in both of them, and that's always taught me to not like judge someone for what you think they are. I mean, Zuko taught me that altogether. With Avatar: The Last Airbender, in our career as actors, we just kind of work and we do things. You never know what's ever going to be impactful to an audience at large. When I first auditioned for Avatar, right? I'm actually in the middle of doing American Dragon Jake Long and some other stuff, and then I get this script like go over to Nickelodeon to read for this show, right? And then you read the script and you're like, what is this? Like, I mean, now it's like we all like, oh, it's Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like this is like amazing, like a phenomenal project. Back in those days, I'm going into Nickelodeon, right, with this script in my hand that's like an epic anime-inspired tale, saga, and like I'm walking into Nickelodeon, which at that time in Burbank is this white building with green slime on it, right? And you walk in and there's like a statue to SpongeBob, of course. There's like big portraits of like, cat dog, big, Nickelodeon stuff, right? And I have a script in my hand that's an Asian-inspired anime. And like, this is not Nickelodeon. This ain't gonna work. And so we do it. I see the picture. It's like this weird kid with a ponytail and a big scar on his face. I'm like, who is this? What is? In my mind, I didn't even think this was gonna go. We do a lot of different pilots and don't think it's gonna go. And we did it. And you're just doing this story, and you're like, what is this? I'm just some kind of bad guy running around chasing some bald kid. You know? And so what happens is, little by little, that story becomes what it became. All of a sudden, we're coming to the set, you know, going, what did you read what happened this week? Like, oh my God, these characters are so crazy. And the thing becomes this phenomenal hit, right? And then I grew up on like Star Wars, so all of a sudden you're like, is this like becoming like Star Wars? Right? And then you're like, am I Han Solo? So I think in a lot of ways the whole Avatar world taught me more than anything, don't know so much, leave room to be surprised. You could have plans in life, but there are things that can happen that are even better than what you had planned.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
My name is Carla.
How you doing, Carla?
I am good. I was very blown away by your dancing skills and Take the Lead. So I always been curious, like, what kind of music do you like to listen to, and who are your favorite artists?
Yeah, I love dancing. Take the Lead, you guys, is a movie I did with Antonio Banderas. Yeah, I always thought the kind of thing I had before some brings up movies, be like, Dante Basco movie watching list. So I love dancing. So before I was an actor, I was a dancer. My whole career in entertainment started at the ground level of all entertainment. I often ask with my new keynotes, like, does anybody know the ground level of entertainment? Does anybody know? No? What is it? What did you say? No, even below being a waiter. What did you say?
Busker.
Busker, exactly. The actual ground, right? So me and my brothers were break dancers in the streets of San Francisco. And this is like the beginning of like the whole golden era of hip hop, mid-'80s about, early mid-'80s. And we were b-boys in the streets of San Francisco with a hat out, boom box, you know, cardboard box, and we were called the Street Freaks. And we became one of the well-known breakdance groups in the Bay Area in the 80s. We won a bunch of contests. We ended up getting scholarships to the San Francisco Ballet Company. We started studying ballet. Just like Billy Elliot. Actually, when we watched Billy Elliot the first time, it was like very emotional because it's a lot like our story. So for years later, for me to come back around and Take the Lead and do a ballroom dancing movie, it was like me going back to my first love, you know? So I love Take the Lead. I love being able to dance in a movie. As far as like the music I listen to, you know, it's pretty wide array of music. Of course from hip hop, because I am a hip hop artist, just kind of the maturation of a hip hop artist. Got into acting, writing, producing, but from hip hop to indie rock to jazz, I mean, as far as pop music, I love pop music too. A lot of pop stuff. I DJ events. I just DJ the opening night party over at San Diego Comic-Con this year. I think I'll be doing Salt Lake City coming up, and I'll play everything from the hits now, like Kendrick and like Chainsmokers and that kind of stuff. But then I'll like put in all the, you know, a lot of classic stuff in the '90s I like, from Biggie and Tupac to NWA to, you know, things that I think are kind of relevant. And then I'll do like a whole visual show to kind of, I do a whole guitar mix, you know, stuff like that. Stuff to have fun with. Thank you so much, Carla. Hi.
Given your Fabiola.
Fabiola, what's up?
Hi, good, thank you. Given your poetry background, have you ever considered a career rapper?
Yeah, you know, I had a band for years. Me and my brothers, the Basco brothers, used to be called the Fly Brown Dragons. Actually, you can hear one of our old EPs on Spotify. If you look at Basco Bros, you can hear one of our old EPs. But I love poetry also. Check out my poetry. I started a poetry venue in my living room over 20 years ago called DPO, Dante's Poetry Lounge. That poetry venue has kind of, from my living room, overfilled my living room into theaters in Los Angeles. Became the inspiration of what became Deaf Poetry Jam on HBO. Still to this day, here in Los Angeles, every Tuesday night, it's the largest weekly open mic venue in the country, which is great. So I love poetry, and I love and I love verse. I still write songs, a lot of rap songs. I just did a track recently with someone special. I can't talk about it, but y'all hear about it. It's gonna be with some interesting folks, and really lucky to be on an amazing track that'll be coming out soon. And I love poems. You wanna hear some poems? You wanna hear some poems? Okay, you can follow my Instagram, my Twitter and stuff. I drop poems, I quick poems all the time, and then I have a book coming out later on, another book coming out later on. So here's my Avatar poems, quick poems, right? A poem called Honor for something lost or misplaced, etched into your consciousness like a scar upon your face. This honor that you chase isn't always what you thought. Matter of fact, the fact that you always had is the very reason why you set out to prove its existence from the start. Ta Bei Feng. She moves mountains, so small yet so strong. Next time I go on a life-changing adventure, you're invited to come along. A poem for my friend who doesn't even bend, but his heart's as big as the rest of them. Plus, he always has my back if we laugh because he's funny. And when his girlfriend turned to the moon, all I could say was, "That's rough, buddy." Stuff like that. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Chelsea. I was wondering, which one do you prefer or favor more, acting or voice acting?
You know what, it's really, people ask me that all the time, and it's all acting. And you can see some of the best voice actors, they're amazing, amazing actors. But a lot of young artists that come to me and want to be, voice actors, like, what should I do? I'm like, become a good actor.
Yeah.
Becoming a good actor, no matter if you are acting in front of a camera or you're acting in front of a microphone, it all comes down to really good acting. And for me, it's less about whether it's in front of the camera or the microphone. It's more about story. Ultimately, as an actor, you want to play a character in a really great story. And sometimes that may come in front of a camera, sometimes that may come in front of a microphone. Ultimately, it's really, we're storytellers. So you're looking to be a part of the best stories, And we're just, I often tell people, like, we're ingredients in the soup, When you're making a movie or a television show, it's soup. And the actors, we're sometimes, you're just a carrot in the soup, and it's chicken soup. Sometimes it's chicken soup and you're the chicken. And sometimes it's chicken soup and you're the carrot. You just want to be a really good carrot. And hopefully the chef makes the soup really good, So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Alex, and I would like to know, between Zuko and Jake Long, which of those two was the most fun to be recorded on?
Yeah, I mean, Zuko wasn't always fun. He's a little angsty. He's mad a lot, right? So in that instance, Jake Long's super fun. People often ask me if I'm more like Rufio or if I'm more like Zuko, and I go, I'm actually Jake Long. Like, that's really, in a lot of ways that was me. He grew up in New York when I was in LA. He's like a skater when I was like a breakdancer. He does what I brought to Jake is I made him like a little hip hop kid, right? Because that's who I was growing up. When I first got the part, I remember having a meeting, or I actually was in front of the foreign press, and we were doing like a press junket, and in front of Disney, and we were like on a press tour with it was me, and there was like High School Musical kids, and and Kim Possible and all there. And I got on the mic, and I'm like, I'm so happy that Disney has a hip hop show. And the president was like, really, what? Yeah, you hired me. So what's funny is I saw some stuff, somebody even brought an old thing from Jake Long, American Dragon, an old from the old DS game. And he's like, it's an American Dragon, yo. It's like I'm the American Dragon, yo. And I'm like, yeah. That's what we did. So playing Jake was so fun. A lot of it, we improv a lot of it. And you listen to it. I was older when I was there. I wasn't obviously I wasn't a little teenager. I was in my 20s at the time, but I'm 90s hip hop. So if you watch the show, there's a lot of 90s hip hop reference. And like vernacular in the show, and the kids are like in the 2000s, like why are they saying all these 90s terms? Because me and Kitty, like we're from like the 90s, and so it's so funny to watch now how they just let us say stuff. And Disney probably was like, we don't even know what they're talking about. And it was such a fun crew, so I had a great time with that show. Thanks. Thank you. Hey.
Hi, my name is Kendra, and I'm sorry, I have a Homestuck question.
Yeah, Homestuck forever.
Homestuck forever. I was wondering how you felt on your influence on Homestuck and the fandom, because you know it's all so crazy.
It's crazy. You guys know about Homestuck? Yeah. Homestuck's in the house. So, I mean, I'm Homestuck trash like everybody else. So Homestuck is fascinating for me. Homestuck was like my introduction to almost like online, right? So how the whole thing goes is like kind of a long story, but I think it's kind of important in my mind about how the internet, my relationship with the internet. So I wasn't on the internet, right? And then I was doing some stuff with some YouTubers, Kev Jumba and Asia Raphael, and they were like, you need to get on the internet. I'm like, dude, I'm not on the internet. Like, that's you guys. That's your generation. Like, I'm not on the internet. And Kev was like, who's a big YouTuber? Kev was like, Dante, Google yourself. He's like, you're on the internet. If you're not going to be a part of that conversation, you're just going to let other people have that conversation about you. And he really schooled me. This kid's like 20 years old, like underage at a bar. I'm like, this kid's really dropping knowledge on me right now. So I went out, got a Twitter, right? Boom, got a Twitter. I think I'm like 2 or 3 days into Twitter, and this girl's like, hits me up. She's like, you need to get on Tumblr. And this girl named Jean Bean, I was like, I just got on Twitter. She's like, I know, but you need to be on Tumblr. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing on Twitter. Okay? And she said to me, and it's there, she's like, go on, get a Tumblr, and I promise you have 1,000 followers tonight. And I'm like, no way. And I'm like, whatever. I sign on Tumblr. I'm like, hi, I'm on Tumblr. I'm Dante Basco. And no joke, that night, over 1,000 followers. And I'm like, okay, so 2 days into that, right, my inbox is filled with like Rufio, but not the regular Rufio. Like a weird Rufio with like horns and stuff. And so a gang, over 100 notes are like, you need to read Homestuck. And I mean, at this, now I'm just following people online. I just do whatever they say. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing here on Tumblr, so if I'm supposed to read this Homestuck thing, yeah, I just like, oh, whatever, I'll start reading it, right? And so I started live blogging, reading Homestuck. And then my Tumblr like got to like 250,000 people watching me read Homestuck. And it was the craziest thing because I'm like live blogging. Do you guys know what Homestuck, the people that know, who doesn't know what Homestuck is? Okay, that's cool. Homestuck is weird. Homestuck is like one of the original viral free comics online. So it's a guy named Andrew Hussey. He created this free webcomic called Homestuck about these 4 kids stuck at home trying to save the world from destruction. And then 12 aliens come that trolly ass aliens. The more you talk about it, the more you sound crazy. Because there's like, then there's alpha of everybody. It's different time. I can't explain it because it's crazy. Well, yes. And so what basically it is this free webcomic, right? And no one told me when we started reading it that it was endless. And I mean, it ended up ending finally, but it was endless. It was screwing up all of my reading because my brain's only so big I can only read like 1 book at a time. And this thing was like thousands and thousands of pages. I read the first 100 pages wrong because there's these pester logs that you have to go back and read. I didn't read. But I have thousands of people following me like, you didn't read the pester logs? It was like reading a book with 200,000 people. It was crazy. And then what you don't understand, I forgot, was the reason why they wanted me to read it is because Rufio ends up in the book, right, in the story. And that night, I was drinking, I was drinking a glass of wine, just ironically, just reading Homestuck and live blogging. And then the guy, the creator I told you about, Andrew Hussey, he shows up, I show up in the story. It's a crazy story. And then I'm like the self-esteem of one of the trolls. And then Andrew Hussey shows up, and then they kill Rufio, like in the movie Hook. And then Andrew Hussey, the creator, shows up, and I'm drinking wine, and he's like dressed in a Peter Pan outfit. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then I'm dead, but then he comes in, I'm like, maybe he's coming in to give me mouth to mouth. No, he's not. He's coming in to kiss me. So weird. Super weird. It got so weird of me live blogging and writing about it. So all the trolls, the whole story takes, I wrote a really interesting review one time that got retweeted a lot about, I go, why do you like Homestuck? Because it's this story that can only be told now because it's about these kids in the internet age, and the whole story gets really told through their chats. And their personalities come out in their chats. They all have typing quirks, all the kids and all the trolls, and it's a kind of a part of their personality, and it's really something that was developed only in the last, decade or so as far as how people text and chat and everything like that. So he ended up Hussey ended up creating another troll, like the Rufio troll from the Neutron family. I'm talking whackness, I don't even know what I'm talking about. And he started using my own, like Dante Basco's typing quirks, right? So when when I'm talking, like sometimes I call girls dolls, he's like, hey doll. And then I always use ellipses because I'm like the third son and 3 is like my favorite number, so I'm always like, when I type, I'm using ellipses. So like the troll Rufio is me with my typing quirks. It was such a meta situation. It was like Homestuck's watching me become a Homestuck, and then I actually became a troll. It's weird. I don't know. It's gonna be one of those weirdest things. I think it's just a weird thing, and it still goes on. I ended up working with a company and meeting Andrew Hussey in real life and helping out with the high swap game, and then I don't know. I am a Homestuck forever, but I'm still baffled by the Homestuck world. I did a video on my YouTube channel about the Homestucks chasing me.
It was so good. I watched it like a million times. It was on my ringtone for like.
It's weird. The whole thing is weird. We just had this whole long conversation about Homestucks, and half the people were like, what are you talking about? But that's Homestuck, you guys. That's Homestuck. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
My name's Rory.
What's up, Rory?
Good. I'm a huge fan of Avatar. Zuko is like my fire baby. Like, I just want to give him a hug and say everything's okay, man. Like,
I know.
Don't worry about it.
He's a lovable.
But my question is actually from my friend J Mark, who couldn't be here.
Okay.
He is Filipino. He's a hip hop dancer.
Awesome.
He's an actor. So he's basically you.
To me?
Maybe. But he's trying to break into this industry that's very white, male dominated, and he was just wondering, what are some things that you've done to kind of break down those walls and get in there yourself?
I think ultimately, Hollywood's changing, the face of America is changing, it's trying to represent more of what America is and the world is, and ultimately I would say, don't get caught up on that. I tell James, don't get caught up on that. What you really have to do, and what everyone has to focus on, is to get good, get really good. Because at the end of the day, Hollywood is one of the hardest industries in the world to be a part of. Whether you're white, black, Asian, Latino. The reality is you're not gonna make it. I always tell you, the reality is you're 10 million to 1 shot. No matter who or what you are, right? That being said, I made it. A lot of friends of mine made it. I've seen people, and not just friends I've met later on, because we've all hang out at parties and people that made it. Like friends that I know from day one that got into town, and I saw them get their first gig, and now that are really successful in doing. But the reality is we beat all the odds. You're gonna beat all the odds. I mean, you have to in order to make it in the industry. And there needs to be luck. But the better you get, the luckier you'll get. Quick poem for the young artists. Seek out and study with a master if you're after greatness. The aim is to impact the world, be the catalyst for changes. Forget what your name is. You should want to be good more than you want to be famous.
Woo!
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
Hey, my name's Nathan. Been loving your stuff for a long time.
Thank you, Nathan.
You mentioned earlier about being on Def Poetry Jam.
Yeah.
And literally there was no applause. I was like shocked.
That's all good.
Just switching gears. I know a lot of the shows were talking about that, but just you as a poet, because I am too, I wanted to ask you, for me, hearing your stuff on there was, I only thought you were an actor before I saw you up there so long ago. So realizing that you had other parts, like you were dancing, obviously you were into music, like who isn't? But for poetry, I was just like shocked. So I'm wondering, who inspired you to start doing that, or what gets you feeling for that?
It's all connected. Like, we're artists, right? So as an artist, sure, I'm an actor. I make a living as an actor, right? But I'm also a poet, a dancer, a writer, producer. It's all coming from a creative place. As artists, as creatives, and I love coming to Comic-Cons because this is our people, you know what I'm saying? This is like a collection of creatives, we're all creatives. And just because, you're not making your living as a creative doesn't mean you aren't a creative. And so, as a creative, it's your expression. That's all. We do all this to express ourselves and communicate, right? And as a poet, I mean, it's all connected, right? So Dead Poets Society is one of my favorite movies of all time. When I worked with Robin Williams, we would just have so many conversations about poetry. And I started writing poems when I was like 15, around that time. And in love with poetry. And as a hip hop kid, you're growing up with rap, and every rap song is a poem. But my favorite poets, my biggest influence is Charles Bukowski, probably my favorite poet. Nice. I read all his books, and that was important to me because Bukowski, who is an amazing poet from LA, from San Pedro. I grew up in Paramount, a few cities over. And when I started reading Bukowski, he started talking about images in our neighborhood that I didn't know was poetry until, you're reading, because you Shakespeare and you Byron, all these people, great poets that you read later on, you really love what they're doing. Even the Transcendental guys, Whitney and Thoreau and them. But it wasn't connected to me as a young person. As I read Bukowski, he's talking about, he'll describe the woman who's on the bus bench from last night with the half-drunk bottle with, the disheveled shirt. Like, hey, I've seen that. That's my neighbor. Like, that's poetry. That's poetry, dude. Like, poetry's all around us. And it really connected with me where I could start seeing the poetry in the world around me. And it just came out the way it came out for me. It didn't come out like Bukowski, but it came out like my own voice, How much time do we have?
We got 4 minutes.
We got 4 minutes, let's go.
Hi, my name is Robert, and I just want to say Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the greatest shows of all time. Thank you so much. And like you said earlier, I do compare it to Star Wars, but you're more like Anakin to me than Han Solo.
Anakin. As long as it sounds like Kylo Ren.
I can see it now.
I know, I can see it.
So my question is, what was it like for you to play such a complex character like Zuko, and what did you learn about yourself as an actor over the years playing him?
When you do a TV show, the great thing about it is you can really, they say as an actor, and in life, it's always best to be present, Don't be too far in the future, don't be too stuck in the past, live today. And what the great thing when you're doing a TV show, unlike a movie, we don't know what's going to happen. We didn't know the redemption. I didn't know as an actor that the redemption was going to come for Zuko. All we knew was what was happening today for the character, and we just kind of are in the moment of creating that. And so it was so wonderful to be able to kind of play who he was that day, because he was a little shit to begin with, whatever. and then you meet Ozai, and you understand how he got the scar, and you start feeling for him, and then his ups and downs with Azula, like, oh, they're gonna be cool, they're not gonna be cool, they're gonna be cool, they're not gonna be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, she's really evil as hell. And then, you know, Katara, oh, they're gonna end up together, and you're not gonna, oh, amazing house, she's cool. They're mean girls, but they're alright. So, I mean, the beauty about doing TV shows, you can really be in the moment with the character, and you don't have to think too far in the future or the past, and really try to be honest in the moment, and that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Last one? I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I talk too much.
I'll be brief, and now I have pressure as the last question. So as a queer kid growing up, watching Bottom and Cheerleaders is probably the most impactful movie for me. What was it like working with RuPaul?
RuPaul's a trip. I love Bottom and Cheerleader. If you haven't seen the movie, you should definitely go see that. Really, really amazing film. It was the first time I went to Sundance Film Festival with, and it was about it's about these kids that go to gay camp to become ungay. It's a very dark comedy, and I play a gay wrestler named Dolph. And it's the comedy of it is like RuPaul's one of our camp counselors. Working with Williams, he's so amazing. He's so funny. I mean, I had not met him up to then. I knew him, who he was, but to be around him, and he's the guy through the whole film. He's the guy RuPaul, right? But to have conversations with him outside of the set and talk about music and hang out, and he was just super, super funny off camera. It was crazy. And we all spent time in like Palmdale, which is like an hour and a half out of LA, like a very rural little town. So we were kind of stuck with each other for a while. But Will was just an amazing, amazing person. So when I saw his recent success with Drag Race and everything, I actually did a panel at the DragCon recently about Bottom Cheerleader. So I love that guy. Always support, root for that dude.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. So sorry.
Are you signing tomorrow?
Oh, are we signing again? Are we signing? Yeah, we're gonna sign. I think I have one more signing, so hopefully I come down and say hi before I get out here and jump on a plane. All right, thank you guys. Thank y'all.